So in this video, rather than doing big neon signs, how about doing little battery powered neon signs?
Well, welcome to a rainy Monday evening. So I've been doing some neon signs. You may have seen them on my site now and then. Large neon signs using the LED neon cut acrylic. There will be more videos on that, but I've downscaled it slightly. You could get the EL wire, the electromagnetic wire. In fact, I've got some somewhere around here. It's this stuff. It's pretty useless. You can't really use it for anything. It glows very, very dimly. It's quite effective, but you can also hear it, and it's really annoying. It's got this high-pitched squeal that you can sort of hear, sort of can't hear. And I've tried a few things, and it's naff. It's used a lot in cars. A lot of car audio people love to put them around there, and it's been around for years. You can get EL paper as well, which is quite neat, does glowing stickers and that sort of thing. But the problem is it's not very bright, and you can hear this high pitch in the background, and it's blooming useless. So that is pretty much scrap, but it's been replaced. So you might have seen, well, I think everybody's seen them, the lovely filament light bulbs that are really popular at the minute. In fact, I've got some behind me here. That sort of thing. I love the look of them. They're actually made with EL wire, but a new version of it. So I went on to good old Chinese website, AliExpress, where you can get all sorts of bits and bobs before they start coming towards UK sites like Amazon. And I bought a lot of different little packages. I bought all sorts of little bits and bobs here. So strange enough, they shipped everything in separate bags. So I'm going to go through and see what we've got. But I've mainly ordered some EL wire. So let's find some scissors. Could have been a bit more prepared for this, couldn't I? So EL wire, it's this stuff. Okay, it comes in all sorts of different lengths. Now the biggest drawback of this is you have to buy it in the length that you need it, which is a little bit annoying when you're trying to plan things to do with it. But you can join it together. So all in all, so what I've done is I've ordered a ton of different lengths and a couple of different colours to see what it's like. But the good thing about this is it runs at 3 volts. So I also got some little battery packs that I can use that hold the CR32 batteries, big watch battery type ones. So these, with, let's just switch this one on. Now there is a tiny little dot on one of these that gives you the positive, and that's the negative. And you put them together and you get a lovely glowing little wire, and it's really quite visible, and it's strangely flexible. It's quite strangely addictive to play with. So that, I think, I can create some quite interesting little things with, especially the fact that it doesn't need plugging in, because you can have a battery pack on it. So let's see what I've ordered, because I can't actually remember. I just ordered a load. I ordered a load of those battery packs because they'll be useful. I think that's what's in this one. And we've got 5 of those just to keep me going. They'll be useful. These little circuit boards are for future projects with full-size neon. These are switching panels, so they can switch from one to another. It actually says there for model aircraft lights, but I'm thinking with neon lights I could switch from one to another, so I could have animated neon signs, but that's a whole different subject. So I've got a couple of them, just in case. I'll probably fly the first one, putting it on the 1 voltage. And let's have a look at what we've done here. I've opened a few of these. That one's an open one. There we go. That one, that must be in that one. Away. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, it's a longer length. Really not the most user-friendly packaging. No, not user-friendly, planet-friendly packaging. That's the word I was after. So let's put this one on. Oh, No, missed. It's quite difficult when you're not holding them together properly. There we go. It's really quite neat stuff, and you get no high-pitched whine. You just get a nice, fairly bright neon. If I put my hands around that, you can see it glowing in my hands. So cool. So that's a long length of the red. What else we got?
It's like Christmas, but I actually ordered it.
Didn't want to go and order tons of the stuff because if I'd have ordered tons of it and spent lots of money on it, I wouldn't have used it. Would have been this is more of an experiment rather than anything else. Cool. Okay, so I've got 2 short bits, medium bits, 2 red short bits, and 1 of them. Thought I ordered 2. I'll go through those packages just in case I've left one behind. I'll have a look in a minute. So, battery pack. So these are quite useful. They could be better because they're a bit fiddly to get open, but then again, once you've got a battery in it, but you have to sort of unclip the back of it, and then they've just got the little battery inside. Pop that together, make sure it's switched on, and then let's show you the white one. So I'll put that down there. Bear in mind, this isn't the best connection. There's a trying to hold them together. Tons of fingers. Oh, that's switched on. Another bit. Really fiddly. There we go, that's the white. It's really quite bright, so they look very yellow. But then actually once you've got power going through them, and it will be interesting to try some more power and see how bright you can go without burning it out. But I think that's pretty decent. So the plan is to make a little neon sign. So my printer is actually printing version 2 of this, but I've got my little logo, and it's actually Katie's Miss Kitty logo. So that's printed in neon, well, not neon, but in the dark filament, which is notoriously a pain to print with. It's not very good. So printing that, and then I've printed a frame as well, which I've put down somewhere. Ever so prepared with this, aren't I? Okay, I've got this one. That, then I've put the neon inside the frame, so we've actually got all the lettering there. And then I've also got a little back, so that will go on there like that, and then that seals the whole unit. And then at the back of here, the idea being is probably with the longer one, I can then just glue in and feed round, and I've done a little channel in the back of this neon-y bit to try and hold it vaguely in place. And you haven't got to go perfectly because it's going to go round, but the whole idea being is then I can fill the back of that with the neon, then connect it to the battery. I've done a little 3D printed holder for that, so that can go in there, and I'm going to use that as sort of a foot to hold it. I'm not quite sure, I might reprint something on there. It's one of those things, you've got to try and print it to try it first to work, and it's like this neon bit here is a little bit tight to fit in the frame, so I'm actually printing a second one off now, that's just brought in slightly, only about 0.5 millimeter, just to make it fit together slightly. So that's the plan. So I'm going to print a few bits and bobs together, clean up some 3D prints, and then glue some bits and bobs together and see what we can come up with. So I'll see you guys in a bit.
So, continuing my little Miss Kitty sign. So, a couple of variations. I've changed a few bits. Always helps if you can print off some tests, so low quality tests. I'm now printing off another one actually. So on this, you will see that we've got the few letters that have got floating centres. So we've got an E here, we've got 2 S's there. The little bits were separate quite a lot. If you actually look on the neon one, you can see that they're just floating centres for the actual letters. Problem is I could have just glued them down separately, but it's a right pain. So I actually bridged the gap slightly and bodged it, like I have to actually suit. So I think that's a much better shape. And this one printed, but it actually messed up slightly and killed the print on the end there. And also it wasn't quite close enough to the plate, so the actual print looks a little bit peculiar. But I've got enough to carry on with because I'm running off another one of those. That'll probably bleep in a little bit while I'm recording this. So just jumping in here, this is what I did in Illustrator. I've got my wife's logo, which is just her text. Okay, it's a slightly more complicated logo than that. But then all I've done with that is add some outlines. So these outlines have got the main body of it overlaps, and then you've got a few little overlaps for creating the fluorescent part and the frame out there. So once you've got your several layers, overlap things, give things about 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter tolerance, then that gives you your outlines. Then you export those as an SVG, okay, or DXF. This is where the iPad has problems, is it won't export as a DXF, so you can use Shaper. But once you've exported those, so you can then bring those into Shape. Well, I use Shaper 3D, and then that gives me my separate parts. So here, the blue part is the fluorescent front, and then the black part is the body. And again, I've got that open at the back, so that's the shape for my actual holder. And then I've got an extra layer in there, which is the back plate. And that's got a little bit of tolerance. It could have done with a little bit more tolerance around the edge there, but that's the back plate. And then I've also got the battery packs, which I did different versions of. That was the original one with the single battery, but when I came to the double battery one, which you'll see in a little bit in the video, that's the tolerance for that one. So all in all, that's all the bits you need. And then you export these, slice them. I use Anycubic Zone Slicer, and then 3D print them. So back to the main video where we'll carry on once these are printed. So the next stage is I've got my front, which I actually made slightly thinner. It's actually now about 2 millimeters thick. This is all really, really thin because it's all quite flexible. So this now should actually fit in there. And with a bit of negling, that then fits inside. A couple of little bits of trim, but this is just test fitting at the minute. So then I've got my neon. Okay, so I've got my little neon bit there, and it'll go through. And that is going to be my front of the sign. So still not quite sure I'm going to do the battery box. That's got to go behind it. And then I've actually got another plate here, which goes on the back, which just seals it all off nicely. So it'll be one solid object by the time it's in. That fits surprisingly well, actually. So I generally print 2s of everything. Like I printed 2 fronts, because if you only print 1, you'll mess it up. So with that in there, I now need to figure out how to fit that in there, because it can't be cut, but it can be joined. So between the long lengths, the small lengths and medium lengths, I wish I'd bought some smaller lengths actually, because I've just found out that that would work a little bit better. So what I've done is I've got some scrappy wire. This is wire that I don't really use very much because it's not thoroughly good. So now I can actually work out the length I want to do my neon. So, and then that bit would have, so I've already cut this. Yeah, so I reckon with the length of that, gives us a vague idea. Take that out, stretch that out, and I still think I need that bit. So now I've got that length. You might think, well, why have you just cut that stupid length there? Well, now, let's get a bit of, because this is going to go all over the place. So that gives me my approximate length plus a bit. So definitely going to need a long one. There's one. Now if I put another one on, oh actually, you know what? I was thinking before that I might need the two shorter ones to come slightly. I think by the time I'm done, the two long ones. Cool. I can always disconnect them and come back. I'm not going to glue anything in until it's all working, because you just know it's going to go wrong if I don't do that. So that gives me my two wiggly bits. Now these are very peculiar. You've got a positive and negative on them, but they haven't got much indication until you spot just on the one tip there. Not sure if you can see it. There's a hole on that one. So see if I can hold up to there. Can you see on there? Is it going to focus? Don't block me off. There is a tiny hole in the end of the one end, and that is your positive. So I've got a hole on that end of that one, got a hole on that end of that one, so I need to connect the positive to the negative, and then we'll try the power on it. So let's get rid of that. So I need would help if I was pre-prepared. Okay, positive. Is it the second piece? Okay, so it's just my soldering is horrendous, which I guessed. Or is it the voltage? I know these have to be child safe, but these are so fiddly to get out. Why can't they just package them sensibly and then people have to keep them out of the way of children? There we go. So if I do, very crude, but bung a quick bit of solder on there just to make sure it's connected. In theory, this now gives me 6 volts. As long as they're both on. Right, so I don't blow the big bit. Let's put this to the small bit and see if I blow it. Whee! Look how much brighter that is. Cool. So now we've got 6 volts. So if I go to that one, which is the positive, and let's see if it's a voltage problem, because it is quite a big piece now. That one. Come on. There we go. It's a voltage problem. Awesome. Cool. So now I've got a long bit. So 6 volts needed for that. See, nothing like a bit of trial and error. That's trial, lots of error. Right, so I'm going to keep that separate over there. So this now, let's tidy this joint up. It's awful. So white should be, there we go. Cool. Right then, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of plonk it in place and tape it. So now let's try and feed this through in a manner that suits. Cram it in. Also can remember that I'm going to have the back plate holding it in as well. Just realised I'm right at the top of my camera frame, so you can't see that. Helps if you can see. So I think, yeah, so that's the I. Then you've got the S. Yeah. Cool. Ooh, no. Just quite springy stuff. Then I've got the E. I think be a bit like that. Is it going to be long enough? Maybe not quite so much on that E. Can I bring it round like that? I think I can. Round like that, and then back down again. Cool. Take there. Right, so that is now taped in the back. Awesome. So now let's try. And now this is the first time I've tried this, so this is whether the video carries on or not. So negative, positive, and there we go. I'm quite impressed by that. Now the other part is, just turn some lights off. So in theory, if I do that and that, well, I'm pleasantly surprised. Awesome. And actually that's quite even. There's a few brighter bits to darker bits, but that actually holds it through quite well. Cool. So I think the glow in the dark. The studio lights. She's ignoring me. Alexa, studio lights.
Okay.
Yay! There we go. Ooh, look, that's made the exposure on my camera very peculiar. Let's put that one back on again. There we go. Cool. So that works quite well. So now all I've got to do is glue that in there. But before we do that, I need to decide what I'm doing with these and that. So obviously the choice is I now have 2 battery packs. So for next time, I need to actually have a look at double battery packs. I think I'm going to look for another battery pack. Then that means these wires can meet somewhere, and then we can join that. That works really, really well. So I'm going to end this bit of the video here because I'm going to have to get onto Amazon and order a quick. Normally I've ordered this from a certain Chinese website to get the bits, but I don't really want to carry on until that's right. Also, this is only a test fit because I've just printed. In fact, that's just finished. My printer. Let's see how this print's come out. So I've just printed this one. Let's pop that off because it's quite delicate. Ooh, that's a bit too close. I think with a bit of cleanup, but I've got a nicer surface than this one on that one. See, this one, it's a bit too far away, and this one's a bit too close. It's like Goldilocks. Too close, too far away. I think I need halfway in between the two. God dear. 3D printers, they're awesome, but they can be a pain. This one, yeah, you can tell from the little brim that it's printed that that was too close, because that's not coming off easily. Which is not a problem. There you go, that's a bit too adhered to the plate. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to carry on. I'm going to print this again, and there we go. The camera's just gone off. Good job, I've just finished the video. So I'm going to go and print another one of these slightly further away from the bed, because that's a bit too close. Bit too far, bit too close. It's like Goldilocks of printing, like I just said. Right then, so I'm going to print this again, and then I'm going to go and find a battery pack that will fit two CR2, was it CR2032 batteries? And if I can get one that fits two of them, so instead of having two stuck together like that, if I can get one that holds two, I think that's the perfect voltage. Actually, while I'm at it, I might buy one that holds three. Then I can play with voltages, because again, different distances. Same thing with Big Neon. After you get to beyond 5 meters, you need to up your power supply slightly. So you need to get different power supplies to do different things. So cool. If I had a meter, in fact, actually any tips? I've got a meter. I bought a nice spangly one. It was only cheap. Quite cool. Does all sorts apparently. I've not got the foggiest. So, for any of you out there that do electronics, I know these are 3-volt batteries. How can I figure out from that wire what I need? If someone could give me some tips on what I need to set this thing to measure it, that would be so useful. Cheers. Right then, so I'm going to leave it at that for the minute, because I know the two of them work together. So cool, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers, see you in a bit. Things have progressed. Right then, you might notice different haircut. Anyway, so it's going to go backwards and forwards because I'm going to do different bits. So we left you with the single battery, which wasn't quite enough to run the filament. So I needed two of these, and then that didn't work. So popped on Amazon, and we've got two different versions of the same thing. So I got a double version of the same thing. But this suffers with the same problem, as in it's a bit of a annoyance to get open. Even now I can't do it, and that's with it not attached to anything. So you can see your two batteries going there. Great, okay. And then that could go on the back, so that's the back panel of the actual thingy-doobry. And that could go on there, that could work quite well. But, yeah, anyway. But there was a slightly chunkier version. So this one is, although deeper, it's got the same switch on it, wires come out the back, but this one is a lot more convenient with a screw back. So this one, on the accessibility and usability side of things, I think is a lot better. And that carries two batteries, and then switches on. So in theory, front end switch. So that then runs, if you can hold it together properly, ta-da, the light. Okay, now that's quite dull still. So I've been looking at different options. There will be a version 25 of this. I'm looking at getting a PCB for USB power supply and a battery, which I could fit on the back of this. That's going to be the next version. So at the minute, I'm going to concentrate on this, because the actual principles of the actual sign are just the same. It's just the power supply, because you can run this proper bright. So if I get one of these, the shorter lengths, and find the one with the dot on, they're not thrillingly obvious. Now this is a much shorter distance, but if I run this from this two batteries, you will see that's ridiculously brighter. Okay, that's proper bright. So the variation on what you can run these little LEDs at is quite severe. So what I want to do is work out, there are a few quite adjustable little PCBs that you can get that aren't thoroughly big, but then if you can build a battery and run it from USB-C, then that's a win. That'd be superb. Then you've got your options. So you could run it plugged in, you could run it not plugged in, off a little battery, because I'm not sure how this long this is going to last, which is the test I'll do afterwards. So I will put down details of what this is going to do. So things have progressed. So last time I left you with the version, now this is quite thin, and I did actually notice that this hadn't printed thoroughly well. I've got a little bit of a strange warpage there, and I thought, yeah, being the perfectionist I am, it is just a test, but I wanted it to be right. So I'm going to get rid of this one, but also once you've added that depth of that and the back, and it sort of needs to go over itself a few times, this was a little bit too shallow, so I've printed another one. Here's one I prepared earlier. Oh, Blue Peter would be proud of me. So I've got another one here. Hopefully this is printed correctly, because I'm not even taking this off yet. So we have, come on, off you come. There we go. These PI plates are superb. I mean, that just comes off so much better than it used to. Right, put that back on there. Top tip, build yourself a case for your printer. Prints have been so much better since. That is probably the first print I've had warp on me, and even then it was just one bit. That's the first print I've had warp on me for ages. This one, just have a quick look, spot on. So these work really, really well. I have got a little pin in here which I need to get rid of. There we go, it's already got rid of it. So this one I did slightly deeper. Okay, only a couple more millimeters, but that'll give me a little bit more to play with. So I've got the same little printed neon, so I'm going to clip that in there. Just need to get a little screwdriver. Ooh, screwdriver. Well, a pokey element. There we go, so that can get pushed in there. There we go, poke that in there, that goes in there, that goes in there. And that gives me a little bit more depth. So just the same on the front, but a little bit more depth at the back. Cool. So now I need to glue that in, and then I've done the back just the same. In fact, I'm not even sure if that's the new one. Is that the new one? Oh, that's the old one. That's the new one. Oh, that's printed superbly well. Very shiny. I chose Arnie. Anycubic have changed their software, and they've done beta versions, and they're starting to release newer ones. And tell you what, it hasn't got many options for different quality modes, but the ironing on that is superb. I think that'll fit on there. Yeah, that'll work. And then the idea being that'll then have the battery. So I also printed this little bit, which hopefully, oh yes. So I printed a little hole in the back for the wires to go through, and a little dip on the front for the, hopefully the switch. See if I got this right. Oh yes. So that then goes in there, but still gives me access to actually unlock it. There's the on-off switch. So that then can go on the back of that somewhere. I was thinking, where was I thinking? It was by the, because the K drops down quite low, I was thinking if I put it around by the M on the back, it adds quite a bit of depth, but that will then hold it level, but also stop it dropping over backwards. And then I can put that wire in there, drill a hole through, and basically that wire can go straight into the back somewhere. Then I've got a switch, and you can still access the battery. I think we'll give it a go. So I've got all my bits. I'm quite pleased with actually how well that fit. That's probably not going to come out of there very well now. Oh, it needs to. In fact, that's a very tight fit. That's a superbly tight fit. I tend to find when you're building things on not the highest of end printers, this is an Anycubic, what is it? Cobra 2 Pro. I've had different versions going through, upgrading bits and bobs. But you need about 0.5 millimeter tolerance things go a bit wrong when you try and get a little bit tighter than that. So I tend to give things about 1/2 millimetre, and then that is fine. So that actually works out quite well there. So cool. Right then, let's put some stuff together. So first off, take that back off there, move all these to the side, move all those to the side. Don't need them, don't need them, do need them, do need them. Cool. So first off, let's just check this fits flush. Cool. Let's just take, got a few little printing edges there, can get rid of. You always get little wispy bits, but hey ho. Right then, so I need some glue. I use Mitre Bond. Works quite well. Big tip though, this stuff dries like mad and it ruins your top of the glue bottle. And then that all goes all cloggy, because if you get that anywhere near that, it all goes wrong, okay? Which is fairly unavoidable when you're doing quite fiddly stuff. So I've found these little plastic glue tips that just clip on and then you cut the end off. They're superb, because when that clogs, you just pull it off, put another one on. And you can, I think it's a couple of quid for hundreds of them. You're supposed to use them on super glue or anything, but they just fit on the top of the glue bottles, and then it means you don't get seized up glue anymore. So these are great. So you're supposed to put that on here with contact and glue it, but the other way around you can do it is with this. Now I'm just going to hold it down because I don't want it going. But if I add a bit of glue to the inside there, to the bits I want, just go on there, because I don't want it left. I only literally need a tiny bit. Yeah, and then again, look, you still get it there, but you can just cut it off. In fact, where is my knife? Or some clippers. That'll do. So if it does clog, which it just has, snip it off, chuck that in your bin, then you've got open glue. But even then, if it is still clogged, you get another one. Let's try that again. Oh, there we go. So a bit of glue there, a bit of glue there, a bit of glue around there. And then hold it in place and spray it, and it's instantly set in the right place. So I can go down, and I've not got to glue the whole perimeter, but it is literally holding in down the main pressure points. I don't want lots of glue in the way, because I want to be able to put my neon in the right place. So let's just glue these. Bear with me a sec. Let's glue all this and I'll be back with you. There we go. So now that's glued in there, all nice and flush, job done. So then that's going to go on the back of that. Not sure how that's going to fully go on there. It might be a bit too tight. I don't know. Go on there. So I need to decide where this is going to go on here, because I want it level with the bottom. But then, mind you, I can do that last, can't I? I just need to decide where that's going to go through there. So I do need to drill a hole in that at some point. Cool. So next is the filament. Now this is my predetermined length that I've already done. Okay, so I'm not going to put wires on the end. I did on the previous one, the test one, because where's my battery pack gone? It is, right there it is, hiding behind my glue. So these wires are going to be perfectly long enough, no matter where I go to, they're going to reach. Okay, that's quite good about this, is they've put a decent amount of wire on the end of there that you can use, so that's quite good. So let's feed that back through there. Put that back in there. Quite pleased with how well that went in there, actually. Cool. So that and that are separate. So now I need to put this in here properly. Just thinking. Excuse me. I've got a right frog in my throat. I could start gluing this in there, but then I've got to solder that to that, which in a tight space is going to be annoying, and also I don't want to mess things up and I'd like to insulate that. So let's switch my soldering iron on, and I'm going to go and get my drill because I need to choose where I'm going to drill a hole in the back bit. So bear with me a sec. So that, I could start gluing that into there, but then I've got to solder that to that. And one, I want to insulate it slightly. I want to get the solder right. So I need this in position first, which means I need to choose a hole in here. So I think, being sensible, I've got to come through the bottom of the M there. So if I think I choose, so I think if I drill through there, that'll be absolutely fine. So let's get my drill. I need it somewhere about there. Wow, this drill's blunt. Where's my block of wood when I need it? Bum, bum, bum. I have got a block of wood to drill on top of. Somewhere. Nope, can't find it. Oh well, let's do it here. Just having a wooden workbench. There we go. Cool. Bong. Trim off any excess. Doesn't need to be perfect. There we go. Knife. Drill away. There we go. Slice that off. Slice that off. So now, I haven't even got to glue this in place because I can feed those through. Come on, there we go. Feed those through, and I can leave that a little bit shy. I can do that very last thing, but if that's through there, that means I can sort these out and not have to worry too much about them. So, let's find a bit of solder. Let's find a bit of heat shrink. Not that it needs heat shrink, but I like to keep things tidy. I haven't got very small. Ooh, that one will probably do. I have got very small. Brilliant. You can get these packs of heat tube. They come in lots of different sizes, and you can generally get the one you want, really. So I only need a small bit. So 2 bits of that. Just to tidy things up afterwards. Note to self, as soon as you've cut your heat shrink, thread it onto your wires, and then you can forget about it, because the amount of times I've soldered a joint, put it together, and then thought, oh, I've not put the plug on the end. Or the other one is the connections where you have to put the sleeve over afterwards, and you wire it all together, solder it all nicely, and then sleeve's missing, and you think, oh, right, don't need me glue anymore. Move that out of the way. Cool. So let's put these on here. Just turn this off. Cool. Is the other one. There we go. Wires, cutters. I have automatic strippers as well, but I find that for little stuff, just normal, simple, small strippers are the best. Now I'm going to leave these full length, because then that gives me every option And I can hide the wire inside this anyway. That's why I've given myself a little bit more depth to play with. Those of you that followed me for a while will know I'm blind as a bat. I can't judge distance. So soldering is really, really difficult for me. Let's put a bit more on here. You should see me welding. Welding? Oh my cool dear, I even embarrass myself trying to weld. But hey, if it holds, it holds. There we go. Quickly test it. Ta-da! It works. So now I need my little blowtorch. And then this is the bit where you bring that forward, put it over the joint you've just made. Oop. Put it back over the joint that you just made because it just moved. Ta-da! One. Cool. So that's joined onto there. Just test it again before I glue it all in, and there we go. Whee! Cool. So now I can put this in here. So basically I want that end to that end, this end to this end, and this might get tangled in all sorts of ways, but if I do that, right, that's going to be there. So I don't really need to pay that much attention to that. So if I do, I need to start it around there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see. If I start and just stick it down with tape like I did when I did the test one, then in theory, yes, because then I can do that. Go under myself. There we go, look, that's because I can go under. So if I'm going to plan it out first, because that wire can then go back on itself. Oh yes. So I actually want to bend that and fit that in there. This is going to be very fiddly and may involve some swearing. There we go. So that's all the way around there. Need my little pokey stick. So I'm not going to glue it in for the minute, but I am going to put some tape on it just to hold things vaguely in place. Let's just test that works. I've just bent that joint big time. Cool. Right then, so I'm going to glue it. Otherwise it's going to involve lots of swearing, but I do need that under there. So if I poke that down there, poke that down there, drop a touch of glue on that. Oh, and on my hand. First one. At least then the start's done and that's not going to come off all the blooming time and annoy me. So I'm going to do exactly the same. Pull that round to there. Hold that there. I'm only putting a tiny bit of glue on, so in theory, if it was stuck on there, I could pull it off. Probably not. And I can go back and glue more down. But this will now give me enough to then start working my way around. I will have to refer to the front again because you've got to remember where your going to be coming to. I'm really not sure how much on the camera above here that you're going to be able to see this, but hopefully it'll all make sense. It's just moved a little bit. But that's the nice thing with contact adhesive. Is that's now lovely and solid. So that's in theory going there, there, there. So that then needs to come down to the bottom here. The only thing I'm conscious of is running out of the neon. So I need to use as much as I can, but also use as little as possible. But hopefully it'll all even out. There we go. So now if I test this, switch it on again. Oh yes, working quite well. See that needs, see there that's quite dark. Probably can't see well, that's quite dark. See if I move that across. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. In fact, actually I'm going to leave it switched on for the minute. Gaff tape, so useful for so many different things. So if I put that on there, then I can see that going through there quite nicely. Oh yes, I'm quite pleased with that. I'm going to carry on. And gaff tape, don't get duct tape. Duct tape's a completely, totally, utterly different thing. Gaff tape and duct tape, maybe only people think they're the same thing. This is canvas tape that sticks but comes off and doesn't leave lots of residue behind, whereas duct tape is a permanent solution and sticks things and you'll never get them free again, which creates lots of mess and a right pain. And back round on itself and down the middle for good measure. So one more bit of tape, just there for a second, and then a few slightly darker bits, but I think that works quite well. In fact, let's switch the lights off. Oop. Oh, she was listening to me. There we go. Oh, look at that. Okay, so got to be happy with that. So it's holding there. Works quite well. And then if I switch it off, if I can find the lights, in theory, it glows slightly. Ooh. Okay, so let's put the lights back on again. Alexa, studio lights. Did you hear me? Studio lights. Okay. She ignores me sometimes. Cool. So now I'm going to go back and glue it in place. Now that I'm happy with the position of most of that. So cool. So now, need to put the back on. So that wire can go through, out the way. And then helps if you have it the right, oh, I've just done it the wrong, good job I haven't glued that down, I've done it the wrong end. I need the wires at that end. There we go. So the red wire, I need to go to this end. I was doing the black wire to that end, I need the red wire to this end. Joys of working on backwards on yourself. Let's just fiddle that round there. Trying to hide the wire in there. Now, I'm not convinced how much this back will fit thrillingly well. Well, it's actually gone on there quite well. Poke the wires in. Get in there. One more bit back here, because this is going to come apart again at some point, or I might just make another one. So I don't really want to glue it permanently, because I want to experiment with it. This is like version 1, because I think this is a winning formula. There we go. So that's that put together. Cool. Then if I fiddle that through there, so then I want this to sit approximately straight. So that's where I want that. A few millimeters off the bottom there. So then I'm literally going to put a dollop on there. In theory, that'll hold that. Awesome. And there we have it. So if I switch that off, that should sit flat, sits on the surface, not going to fall over. So there we have our little sign. So we've got access to the battery pack there. That works. Ooh, it's just moved. There we go. Just twist that around a little bit. Cool. There we have it. Awesome. I'm very pleased with that. And then when you switch it off, it's got a little bit of glow. Nice, I've got a bit of glue on the front there. I am pleasantly surprised by that. Now you've got different filaments, so it could be a little bit brighter. I think with version 10 is once I've got the USB on there, it'll be a high voltage, high current. So it'll be brighter. I think this filament can actually go quite severe. So at the minute, a little bit dull, but I'm quite pleased with it. This is for tabletop. My wife does craft shows, so if that's on in the tabletop in front of your stuff, people go, ooh, and they'll see that from a distance. And also just cool stuff on the shelves and that sort of thing. So, oh, hit my camera. Cool stuff on shelves, that sort of thing. So cool. But again, if I switch my lights off, okay. Look at that. Got to be happy with that. So let's switch that one on. Oh, wrong one. Like that looks really weird on here. On the camera, it shows really quite intense on some parts and quite dark on the others. But in real life, actually, that's quite even. So drive cameras, that sort of thing. So cool, brilliant. There we go. So took a few bits of fiddling and that sort of thing, but that is a self-contained little neon sign. Okay, and you could use any font, any bits and bobs. So cool. So bits and bobs I've used on here. Okay, everything I've bought from, well, I use AliExpress, but you can get the same stuff from Amazon. 3D print filaments. I've used glow in the dark filament, black PLA for that. Okay, I use Shaper for my 3D design and Illustrator, or you could use Affinity, same thing. Pretty much, you just need to be able to do the outlines of your text to then create your file for that. There are easier fonts to use, but this was the actual font for my wife's logo, so I wanted to try and stick to that. But I think that works rather well. So there we have it. More developments coming soon on this one though, because now that I've done one, product development, it's always one of those things. Now you've done one, I can see potential for improving this. For a little sign. Okay, I've had big neon signs, I've got neon everywhere around here, but I like this. I think these are really cool as a little self-contained thing. Imagine someone's name in that, or other logos, or... So if you like this, like and subscribe. This is going to develop into more things. So this is version 1. Okay, so I'm going to develop this into more. I'm going to add USB power to it. I'm going to add battery back power to it, rather than using the button batteries. Okay, because I don't think these, I want to make it brighter. I want to make it, I'll just make it the best thing ever. Okay, so like and subscribe for more videos like this, making things. Okay, and we'll see what we can come up with. But there's plenty of this. Also, this workshop, it's on there as well. And also, I've got affiliate links to everything I've used on here. So I'll give you links to what I'm going to do, what tools I'm using, any bits and bobs I'm using. Amazon links for the affiliate links, but also I'll put a few links through to where I got these, because I get these from AliExpress. It's a lot cheaper for bulk buying little bits and bobs. But I'm dead pleased with that for first attempt. So cool.